how did you manage to gather the engineers? Now, I understand that you would understand launch vehicles well, but obviously you don't have a specialization in a particular domain. Now, if you have to make solid boosters, which is a very complicated and also very dangerous task, how do you take care of that? And how do you proceed towards hiring people? Did they have prior experiences, and did you handpick those people?
Yeah, so maybe like you can say like around 10 to 15% people have prior experience, worked in the systems before. So many veterans work with us, full time. Each of them have like maybe 40 years experience in the field, right? So all that is there, but still, that's not at all enough, because the real 90% of the people also have to work together at the same pace and same, knowledge to make it happen. So what we do is that we recruit like really smart people as much as possible, so in fact, like maybe the average ratio would be like 1,000 is to 1, so 1 from 1,000 people, so that is what we try to get some really smart people out there, and they learn very fast.
Did you recruit freshers as well?
Yeah, we do recruit freshers as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and train them. In fact, I think the future will be like training more and more freshers, where because you don't have like a lot of experienced people per se, and you create experience. That's the only way you can do it. And probably we have trained like hundreds of freshers as of now, over the last 5 years. So that's what is building. It's actually building in a way. Even though it's in small amounts now, so these hundreds will become thousands in the entire private sector tomorrow. Right, so it's hardly like 2 years since the policy has come, and already probably several thousands are working across all together. If you add up all people working in the startups in building space vehicles, or like I'm talking about building space systems, overall space startups, it's in thousands now already, right? And that's going to grow. I mean, down the line it will cross several tens of thousands, and just imagine such manpower being there in India. I think it's very much required for us in the future. Yeah.
Right, and especially when I was preparing to get into ISRO, there's like only one option. If you want to work in a space organization, you have to get into ISRO.
Yeah.
And as you know, I appeared in my last ISRO attempt in 2018. That was like right when you guys were starting up, right? But now the youth has so many opportunity, and there's so many people who approach me about like, I want to get into space science and engineering. And especially, that 2020 in January, there was an ICRB examination, and then the COVID happened. And then it is like a 2021, and now we are seeing another recruitment. And in between that, there are so many people who graduated, and they all want to get into space science and engineering. I think organizations like yours, companies like yours are giving those people an outlet to what they want to work towards, right? What is your recruitment process? How do you hire people?
Yeah, so we are very active on LinkedIn. So we put up these profiles on LinkedIn, and probably on average always probably 8 to 10 recruitment open positions are always there, sometimes even more. And then like people apply through LinkedIn, and then we also promote the positions through Twitter, probably as a snapshot of what are the open positions, and then we reach out. We have a team which reaches out to people who have some sort of experience which they believe could fit us, and so that is also is one way of reaching out to people. And then and we also like promote to our employees as well, so they also talk to their networks, and whenever there's an open position, they'll try to find who's the right fit among their circles. So like that, there are various channels in which we do, but primarily through LinkedIn is what we do, because I think most of the people, most of the job seekers are out there. At least they have a profile there, and then it can reach to them. But it's one of the various channels, but majorly through LinkedIn. Yeah.
Right. So you look at the profile, maybe the resume, and then you directly call for an interview?
Yeah. So that's what we do. But
you
of
sit
course,
for the interview yourself, like you handpick them, or you have a recruitment interview team and you don't sit for that panel?
Yeah. So what happens is that first, like, the HR team, talks to them, understands if there is interest, understands if there is a relevant experience, understands if they are like really passionate to join and all that. And then the team, one of our team members will interview them to check how technically good they are, And finally, me or Bharat, one of us will interview, take the
You were
final.
like roommates and
Yeah.
together.
So we both, started together. We were like flatmates at Trivandrum, and during the time of VSSC. So very close friends. We started together, and then so now what happens is that we take, either one of us takes the final round of interview. We see that everything is matching what we need, etc. The passion is there,
Right.
and all that. We see that all the boxes are ticked, whatever we want a Skyroot person should be, and then we give them an offer, and then they become part of our journey.
That's a great way of hiring, because what we unfortunately what we see in the process of ISRO, and it's not even a problem with ISRO, it's just the mammoth size of it, is that there's a written test, which a lot of time is luck. You have given IIT JEE examination, so you know how it works, right?
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, I'm so happy that there are organizations like Skyroot where you're looking for passion, right? Even in my ISRO interview, they never asked about passion. It's only like technical questions, and that part goes out. And would you say that it is more important for you to be passionate and motivated than for you to be technically competent?
Yeah, so I think a good mix of both, but what we give less importance to is like having huge amount of experience or relevant experience. Something may not be required, because people can build the skill sets, right? So if the person is passionate enough, and the fundamentals, when it comes to technical part, we don't compromise on fundamentals. So fundamentals should be very good, and the passion should be good. Right? Passion and attitude should be good. If these two are ticked, I think experience becomes less relevant to us. How
would you test a fundamental? I want to just know.
So I mean, the way is that we ask them a problem statement in the interview itself, right? Like on video face-to-face interview, but it's easier to solve a problem on the paper once you get the problem statement. Probably you can read, learn, and then build it. We do that also. So we give them problem statements, ask them to solve some really tough problems. They come up with solutions. We see how they solve. Some of them may not be able to solve the problem, but it doesn't matter. We see how they solve, how they approach the problem. And then if we like the approach, how they're thinking, I think that's good enough. And then in really face-to-face interviews, at least what I do is that I ask them something very fundamental, very fundamental.
Give me an example. That's what I want to know. Like, is it computational fluid dynamics fundamental?
Not at all. In fact, I'll tell you, very surprisingly, there are people with like 10-15 years of experience. They work in like I ask them like, what kind of materials do you work with, for example. So they say, okay, aluminum alloy, so and so alloy, 6 series, 7 series, so some fancy alloy. I ask them, what is the density of the alloy? Many people do not tell it right. I ask them,
even though they have worked with it.
Work with it, right? So because they never felt that it was needed. Probably, it was not needed for the job to actually know the density of that material. Probably they are in integration, or they are in something else. Probably not related to actually testing the material. But it's very fundamental to have the curiosity to know what the material strengths are, what the material's densities are. If that is missed, I think it's a no-go for us. I mean, at least how much experience they have, because we see how much curious that person is.
Right.
For example, a really curious guy, he would learn a lot of things around what they work, right? So they might know how to the regular work they do. Probably they might know a lot of details, but around that, if they do not ask, that shows that curiosity levels are not high, which may not be the right approach for things like us, because they have to learn something very new. They have to connect things, a lot of things, because everything is a system. In fact, what at Skyroot we say, like, everybody should be a system engineer. So that means even though probably your expertise is thermal or your expertise is structures, you need to know a little bit of everything. You need to know how your thing fits around everything else, right? So everybody is a system engineer. So you're building a system together, basically, right? So we see that system engineering skills, which is very, very important. Even though it's not your field, you should know at least what are the related things. You should know little fundamentals of all of that, and we come to know easily. We can easily filter the best guys by asking very fundamental questions, and these guys do a phenomenal job once they join, because they know all the fundamentals. They know, for example, if there is a stress engineer, like for example doing structural analysis,
right?
I ask him what is something as fundamental as what is principal stress, what is why are there these number of principal stress, what is von Mises. These are very fundamental things in that. But I ask them slightly deeper questions, why it is required, why do you even need a failure theory, this is for which type of materials, very fundamental questions. questions, but many people, the way they answer itself, you know that there is no depth.
They just know it.
They just know it, but they don't understand it,
Yeah.
right? So that's where like these some very basic fundamental questions we start, and some people answer it very easily. Then we go next level. You go deeper.
Yeah.
But all will be with fundamentals, you know. And then you know that this is the candidate. You know, it comes in the gut. You know, that at the end of the day, I think the gut feeling plays a good amount of thing in recruiting a person.
Yeah.
Right. Of course, we do multiple people interview, but they know in the gut they're the right candidates to know.
Right.
So that also we give good importance to. Subjectivity, good amount of subjectivity is there. There is some good amount of objectivity is also there, like through giving problem statements, how they're solving. You know, it's a mix of subjectivity and objectivity, and we take the call.
Would you say that Skyroot is mostly like research heavy right now because you're still trying to develop and build a model, build systems right now? What percentage of Skyroot is research and what percentage of it is project, like your next launch? What would you say?
Yeah, I think like now where everything is in development phase. So it's a very engineering heavy, like fundamental engineering is a lot of system engineering and a lot of, a lot of designs, new designs, and then, a lot of developments, a lot of testing, right? So almost everything is that way. Right? And project, maybe 20% into project management or program management directly, looking at deep schedules and then, linking things and supply chain and all that, but mostly most of the people are like working on a new system, developing a new system, building it, testing it, qualifying it to the flight. I think and all the systems are like we are building for the first time, right? And there's a lot of, in fact, for Vikraman itself, there's a lot of testing pending in the next 3-4 months, and which is like very critical for, our first launch, right? So it's all learning every day, and a lot of new developments. It's not like in full-fledged project mode, I would say, but that would come, like you said, right? And maybe after few launches.
Right.
Once it becomes like a workhorse, a vehicle becomes a workhorse. And
I believe that is why you look for fundamentals, because you're not just looking for people who can repeat what they did, but you want to build from scratch.
Yes.
So you will need the basics.
Yes.
All right.